So this Flash is just a bum. I mean, where does he fit with his backstory? I mean, would any of these characters...
None of them got a backstory, and there's no movie backstory.
We didn't get a backstory for
but in terms of, like, it's going to be explored at some point. How do they fit in the canon that they have enjoyed for decades? For not only decades, I mean, a lot of these characters have been portrayed in television, in movies, in cartoons. How do you see any of these characters synchronizing with a view that the world and the fans have had of these characters?
The Flash
you've turned your back on that. I think this is why it's called the extended universe, because it's extended itself so far away from its groundings, it's become its own self-entity.
The Flash, you could actually do a backstory of the Flash with this Flash. It's not a problem.
As a flashback.
As a movie, but they did it as a Flash.
Yeah, good catch up.
It took a while to pick that one up. But you could do Flash with this Flash. Aquaman, I can't say how you can do a film with, because my
problem with this Flash is just...
as
I said before, the Flash is his prodigious forensic expert. In this one, he's just drifting around, doing nothing.
Which means
but you don't know that
he broke into somewhere.
Looking for friends.
But you don't know whether he's smart or not. They haven't backed up whether he's smart or not. Yeah, it's just
stupid. It's
the Spider-Man-y style of... They try to do
smart, though.
Yeah, but you don't know whether
Barry Allen was
smart.
This Barry Allen was just like... he's on the autism spectrum.
I'll go back to...
But yeah, he could be smart. He could be...
I'll go back to the actual television series. I recall when the Flash television series is going to be in this recent one with Grant Gustin. Yep. I looked into him and thought, geez, you could not pick a guy who less looks like the Flash compared to John Wesley Fripp from 20 years ago.
Snip. Was it Snip?
Fripp, I think it was. But I mean, you looked at him and go, geez, he looks like a superhero. Grant Gustin was sort of thin, a little bit goofy and all that. You look at him and go, geez, that's terrible casting. And they have written that so well. He's played it so well. You buy in. He does a great job of being the Flash. And it feels like the Flash. With no offense to the actor, Ezra Mosley or whatever. But with no offense to him, because it's I can't blame any of the actors with this. It's not like one of the actors... Oh, sorry. I can't blame Jesse Eisenberg. I can't blame any of the other actors with this. Because they haven't gone off reservation. Oh, shit, that's probably racist. They haven't gone off Schneider. They have just portraying what Schneider wants, or, what they've been built to portray.
The biggest problem is the three nothings in this, not the three big ones.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
But Cyborg, Aquaman... Cyborg... Aquabad and MASH.
Flush.
They tried to put some backstory in about 4 minutes for each of them. None of it worked. You just didn't care about any of them. So they were better off doing a potential film, putting them three in a film, building up to this as they know each other, and each one brings something. Each one has their own thread. Each one has their own thread in a film. If they don't think they can hold a film in their own right, each one has their own thread in a film that has those three. To introduce them before you did this, you still make a few $100 million as long as you got a decent scriptwriter and director in it, which none of these films actually have.
This had Joss Whedon.
But you could have brought him in before you did Justice League, and then you'd have something. But you didn't care, and the film's that short that nothing was developed. So it's basically exposition, action scene, exposition, action scene, exposition, action scene.
The thing for me too is that for me the JLA were Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, the Wonder Twins, and Gleep. What was his name?
Gleep. The monkey.
The fuck is Cyborg?
Cyborg.
I don't know who Cyborg is.
But Green Lantern
Cyborg's
was barely...
obviously a popular character now, and I admittedly haven't read a comic for about 10, 15 years.
You know who Cyborg was in this movie? He was the exposition man. I've tapped in. I am getting this information.
He's
from
tech head man because there's computers now, and it's tech head superhero.
Fucking, I couldn't give a shit about you, man.
Why did you save me? I look like I can levitate today. I couldn't do that last night.
Seriously, though, to be honest, if
I can order a pizza today. I couldn't do that last night. Last night, pizza or just
if I was near
Subway,
and we didn't get to see what fucking happened to him. But if I was fucked up that bad, my choice was not fucking waking up tomorrow or having a really fucking cool robotic body where I to do amazing things, I wouldn't be too fucking upset.
See, he had no backstory because the old man fixed him up. But they never actually explained how, what, where, why he got injured in the first place.
That Kryptonian technology.
You saw it.
It was just rubbish.
You saw it in the YouTube clip in Batman vs Superman.
I saw it in the preview.
This one didn't work. Let me try this one. Oh, he's not responding. Oh, he's incorporated a calculator. He's going to be really good now. There's a VCR in his house!
Basically, it was just stupid. It was just fucking stupid.
But let me put it this way. I've always loved Superman. People go, you can't write.
Not like in the touchy-feely way.
Yeah, no, not in the Harvey Weinstein way.
From a distance.
Yeah, but I've always loved the character, and people go, you can't write for him because he's too tough. I actually think you can write a lot of stuff for him. You just got to do it well. I love Batman. Great character, enduring character.
He doesn't work in this.
That neither work. When I look at these movies where they've got Batman and Superman, I always sort of think back. Imagine like 27 years ago, where you had the Tim Burton Batman was a major success. Superman was dying in terms of its franchise, and if someone said, let's put the Christopher Reeve Superman together with the Michael Keaton Batman,
which they tried to do, didn't they?
I think they might have, threw it around a lot. Yeah, but if you look at they were so oppositionally different in terms of style and genre and character, that would have been really interesting. Everyone in this Snyderverse always feels like part of that same monotonal, dreary, depressed, gloomy universe.
They're all smart-ass wisecracks.
Feels.
In this one, they tried to retcon a lot of it. They tried to change the tone of it, which it was a lot of Whedon in it. About 5 minutes in, I kept sitting there thinking, this feels like something. What other movie does this feel like? And I couldn't get it for quite a while. And then I realised what this actually felt like to me was a lot like a combination of a telemovie, where they didn't have enough, take away the CGI effects, where they didn't have enough budget going into actual development and story and all that. And it also felt like all those copycats that came after Batman in the 90s, like The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, Billy Zane, The Phantom and all that, which weren't terrible movies.
The coattail riders.
Yeah, but it felt like someone trying to impersonate a tone with no clear, unique style of their own.
This is just the Avengers light.
And that's what it is. And actually, Warner Brothers, I understand why they've done it, where they're sort of going, let's go get Joss Whedon. He does
catch
this.
up.
But it's also like, I actually sort of felt like, Joss Whedon's probably about the worst person you could get. You don't want someone who's going to come in. And I was thinking about the Marvel Universe the other night. I was thinking, if you look at the first couple of movies are a little bit darker, a little bit more serious, like with Iron Man, I think the first four, Captain America, and then Joss Whedon did Captain Avengers.
Captain Avengers.
Captain Avengers, yeah. Captain Avengers. He did Avengers. And that really established that glib tone Joss Whedon, did through Buffy and Angel and all that. And that's then
Cabin in the Woods.
But that's then been the overriding theme and tone of all the Marvel movies. It's been that sort of glib, jokey tone. They always subvert expectations. They always, invert your expectations. When you have a superhero moment where you think, oh shit, this will be wild, they always go for the bit of the goofy moment and all that sort of stuff. This is what we complained about when we saw 4. It's like you just kept doing it. It's like, maybe just be serious for a moment. But this felt like, they got Whedon in, they go lighten it up, and he's just doing his Whedon thing, which is good for Whedon-esque things, but it's like, if you're trying to distinguish yourself from the Marvel Universe, you shouldn't be playing out like a bit of a clone of the Marvel Universe, because you're really not establishing anything of your own. And if you look at this, the way this movie is played, this was like a, boxers taken 11 rounds of punishment, throw the fucking towel in, and it'll be an honourable defeat. This was a really half-assed movie, which had no clear vision, which was just tried to mitigate the damage that the previously bad movies, which were Man of Steel.
Every film's been trying to do since they've done. They're trying to fix the damage from what came before.
And
now we're 5 films in this sequence?
And it's a surprise because, you look at Wonder Woman. I don't think Wonder Woman's a great movie. I reckon the first 15 minutes of Wonder Woman were brilliant. And then it just it doesn't become bad. It just becomes so-so. But you look at that movie and it's like tonally they looked at that universe and said, yeah, we're going to do something a little bit different. And they actually felt bright. You know, it felt like, there's a bit of hope here, and it felt like there's a bit of light, and people aren't just running around being dreary, depressive assholes, as they do in a lot of these fucking Snyder movies. Everyone in Snyder movies has hemorrhoids. They all run around in pain, in agony, lamenting the difficulty of their lives. It's not enjoyable, particularly for superheroes. I can understand why you go for that trope with Batman, because that's fucking Batman's pain. He carries that. Superman is the flip of that. He should be not cheery, but he should be lighter. He should be, setting the standard for fucking humanity.
He should be the Boy Scout.
And
holding the American flag.
The thing that fucking I hate a lot is when they pitched Man of Steel, when they were like releasing trailers and teasers and all that sort of shit. They did the Jarrell, voiceovers. They did the Jonathan Kent voiceovers. They can be a great people, which they took from the Richard Donner movies. They can be great people. Only need someone to lead them the way. And you look at this Superman. This Superman is not leading anyone's fucking way in terms of what we see. They try and tell us progressively through the movies. They try and tell us, we're missing Superman. He was a great hope for the fucking people. I have never seen that. And in terms of what we see, in terms of stakes, if you look at this fucking movie, I mean, the two things with stakes, everyone's just flying through the air. It's like, who gives... No one's going to get fucking hurt in this movie. I mean, Batman gets flung into a police car, he just gets... And I actually thought it was a decent scene when...
Bruises.
I actually thought it was a decent scene where he was trying to peel off his arm and he had all the bruises. Well, okay, that shows the repercussions of being Batman. But the other thing is, like, Steppenwolf is running around trying to get these fucking free motherfucker boxes, trying to dominate the Earth, and you never... except for one lone family in Russia, you never see anyone sort of going, oh shit, the world's about to be taken over by an alien with horns. No one...
There's no stakes. There's no stakes in this. Anyone you see in this film, is not going to die. Even Steppenwolf doesn't die.
But you don't feel any stakes in terms of like...
Because they're all superheroes. There's nothing else there.
You don't feel like he's trying to take over the Earth. There's fucking obliteration happening. And you don't see like people running and screaming and, going, oh shit, he's going to kill us. And I actually understand why they do it, because I'm sure someone in Warner's, some exec has said, you know what, you fucking destroyed Metropolis in the first movie. You destroyed the other half of Metropolis in the second movie. Can we stop destroying the world and seeing people fleeing and screaming? Can you just get away from that?
And let's destroy a place where actually there is no one, and I don't care if you destroy it.
I want to see a scene where all the people of Gotham were just standing on the pier.
The river.
I'm glad I don't fucking live over there. Look at that fucking place.
But if you look at Batman and Superman when they fight Doomsday, there's no one there. It's just them running around fucking buildings. Because obviously someone said to Snyder, you fucking destroyed half of Metropolis. There's nerds out there watching this movie going... there's people in those buildings that are getting knocked over. There are people who are dying in this city. This is not what Superman should be doing. He should be saving people. And they've tried to progressively retcon it and reversion it, so we're looking at like a Superman who's going, oh yeah, he is the Superman we know, but we never actually see him fucking do anything.
No, apart from that,
too Superman.
Small little montage of saving a few people in Batman vs Superman, the space capsule saved, the flood saved.
I think that was their homage to he's now part of it, but they didn't build it up well enough.
He just goes back to being the same fucking brooding prick that he's been in.
And sorry, Chef, I know you haven't seen all of Smallville, but I Spook and I have watched all of Smallville. I recall a great episode where Clark, he's not Superman at that stage. He saves someone, but someone else falls off a building and dies. And they interview the wife of the person who falls off the building, and she goes, "Well, why couldn't he save my husband?" And that's why I actually think the strength of storytelling with Superman is it's like he can't save everyone.
Who do you choose? How does he?
I mean, this is
so that great scene in Superman Returns where he's floating in space, listening to the peril on Earth. And where do I go now? I can't be everywhere at once. What's the most important thing to pursue?
And it's probably not even important in terms of, he's probably, he's making snap choices because he doesn't know how things are fucking going to turn out. He might save the next Hitler. He might, not save the next person who could have cured cancer or whatever. But that's, I actually think, where the strength of Superman is. It's like, you cannot save everyone. That's where I would play a story with Superman out, but no, they're not doing that. People are constantly looking at Superman going, oh, he's just too tough. How do you deal with Superman? Apparently Zack Snyder's way was to make him the gloomy, depressed prick. and to make him, run around fucking just moping for 6 hours of movies.
Oh, I think Cyborg outmoped him though in this one.
Oh, there's a lot of moping going around in this one. He's
fucking ungrateful prick. You're living a life,
Well, let's go back to the film. Who is Steppenwolf?
They did Born to Be Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I figured. He's popped out of nowhere, done all this stuff. And he was basically on Earth 5,000 years ago, where the fuck it was, and he's taken over Earth and he's just introduced this character of Steppenwolf. If you're going to pick someone from the whole Superman canon, you've picked for Justice League. You could pick anyone from any of the comic books.
I want to see fucking Brainiac.
Give me Mixelplix. I don't give a fuck. Just
how good was Mixelplix?
Oh, I love Mixelplix. Bizarro Superman.
Crypto.
Give me Bizarro Superman.
Make Crypto turn bad.
But Steppenwolf, you've got this one, and he had no presence. He was pointless. He was useless.
Was he an actor, or was he just a CGI beast?
He was half
of plasticine CGI.
No, yeah, with his mosquito fleet. It was just the
I
whole bad guys. Yeah, bad guys make a film, as we've said a lot of times. But it was pointless. The bad guy was pointless. And so he couldn't even bring it up there. And we know that Lex is shit, but. And
the best part about
bad guys have just been terrible.
I'm so fucking dominant. You can't beat me. I'm unstoppable unless I get scared, and then my mosquitoes eat me.
and then I got to go back in my elevator and go where the fuck I was before because it's so easy to get back and forth. And the other one, where the fuck are the boxes? So they pushed the boxes apart. Did they just blow up and they just disappeared? And you think, why the fuck didn't they do that before? So they've got to hide these fucking boxes, but they can't destroy the boxes.
Mother boxes.
Whatever. And then they've destroyed the box. It's just fucking stupid.
The thing I hate, again, I don't know who fucking introduced this. Let's just blame Zack Snyder. Mother boxes, they're just the Infinity Stones of this universe. So why do we need fucking mother boxes? Stop fucking impersonating. Again, you look at the movies like, Logan, who just did something totally different. You can fucking do what you want. I reckon fucking the film world has proven if you tell a story well, the people will come. Why do you keep going back to this formulaic shit which wasn't that great in its original form and just keep reproducing it? And why do you keep going? I mean, seriously, I'm just going to go on a bit of a Zack Snyder rant here. Man of Steel wasn't a good movie. You're going to make Man of Steel 2. Man of Steel didn't produce enough money. So instead of Man of Steel 2, you made fucking Batman vs Superman. That was pilloried. That was fucking ripped apart by a lot of people. And
because it was a fucking bad film.
Movie. Suicide Squad was total shit. Wonder Woman got a half decent review. Surely you should be looking at this stage at the person in charge of this universe and going, he doesn't fucking get it, or he's not producing what we need him to produce. I think,
but they both made a stack of cash though. But that's all they care about. Suicide Squad made a stack of cash for such a bad film.
Suicide Squad was the dope. Okay, it was the dope.
It was dopey.
I had an argument on.
It is the worst film I have seen in the last year. It is such a bad film.
I had an argument on Twitter about these movies, and he attacked me, and the 3 reasons he defended these movies, and he called Suicide Squad the dope.
You're never going to let this go.
I'm not going to let this go, because I actually think this is what's the problem with fucking a lot of film defense. I actually think this happens in Star Wars. Like defending the new Star Wars movies. The 3 reasons he gave up were, 1, it's different. You just don't like because it's different.
Yeah, you just scrub that.
If different equates with shit, you're right. It is different. 2,
different shit.
2, every movie has problems. Why are you picking on this one?
Because the problems are like every minute.
Okay, and 3, just fucking sit back and enjoy the sweet, sweet visuals.
They're terrible too.
But this is like, do you actually notice the 3 defenses there?
It's got nothing to do with the film.
But they're just broad defenses.
Yeah.
You're not actually defending specifics in the story. You're not saying, oh, well, but this is why they did that. Didn't you actually get that from the plot? No, you're just sort of saying, yeah, I understand there's problems. You should just like it anyway. Visually, it's sweet. I actually respond to them. Fucking everything looks pretty sweet nowadays, except this movie. And, what was the fucking other
different.
One? It's not different. It's just bad. Because fucking Snyder decided, I'm going to make a dark Superman. It's like, oh, well, look how visionary he is. Look how different he is.
No one said that, though.
No, but
I don't think anyone's praised the retelling of Superman.
No, but there's people.
I'm sure there are.
There's people who
Of course
praise.
there'll
There's
be.
people who fucking like drawn parallels with going, oh, why are you complaining about this scene in the Snyder movies when Richard Donner did that similar scene in fucking his movies? And I'll give you an example. At the end of Superman 2.
Bashing the guy.
In the middle of Superman 2, Clark, when he doesn't have his powers, gets beaten up by a bully. At the end of Superman 2, he goes back to his diner and he beats up this guy. And it's a comical scene. In Man of Steel, a trucker fucking picks on Clark when he's a waiter in some redneck diner. Clark turns his back on him, walks away, and then later on, when the trucker leaves the diner, his fucking truck is impaled on some telephone poles. And they're going, why are you complaining about this movie when it happened in that movie? It's like, those are just incidental scenes, although I will fucking get into this for like 28 seconds, you can time me. That scene in Man of Steel where he comes out and he finds his truck impaled. How the fuck he did that? He wasn't flying at that stage. How the fuck he impaled the truck with no one noticing him, no one hearing it, no one coming out to see what's going on? I have no fucking idea. It's a ridiculous scene. But people like comparing scenes, like they're going, oh, well, fucking Clark, Superman threw Zod into some snow in Superman 2 at the end, and at the end of Man of Steel, he broke Zod's neck. That's equivalent, isn't it?
Killing someone and, not really.
And in the extended version of Superman 2, and I shouldn't be getting extended versions for fucking defense, but like in the extended versions, they actually show that the Kryptonians, once they're deprived of their powers, they didn't die, they were arrested.
Yeah, they were arrested. Yeah, that's right.
But it's only in some versions.
Okay.
But you look at people keep sort of drawing comparisons, going, this is what's happening. The Snyderverse isn't a fucking... And I said this, when we did the preview before the jump, I was the one that went hard. I didn't expect anything. I pretty much got it.
You have no hope.
I know, but why would I go into this universe with hope?
I was going with hope. You always got to go see a film with some hope that I'm going to like the film.
I want to be surprised. I genuinely want to be surprised. And like with this movie, I didn't hate it anywhere near as much as I hated
because it was,
the other three.
It was bland as. That's why.
And
There's nothing to hate.
I'll tell you.
But
with this movie, I actually thought for the first time in the DC movies, and this includes Wonder Woman, which is like the best of these movies. I actually looked at it and thought there's a couple of scenes I actually really like. That scene where we talked about earlier where Superman returns and they try and fucking incapacitate him, and Flash tries to race around him and Superman turns, and as he turns you see his head's just going a little bit quicker and he's picking up Flash's speed. It's like, oh shit, and Flash is realising, shit, he's in tune with my speed here. I thought that was a really cool scene. I actually liked the scene that was really stupid when they're fighting Steppenwolf and, fucking Steppenwolf's just handing him their asses and then just, I stand for truth. And
Jeez, I thought it was pretty corny.
I actually like that
because that Superman is corny, so that fits into Superman.
But you can't rationalise the Superman that you've been dealt for the last three films with that Superman delivering that line.
No,
that's
can't.
true.
It's kicking the nuts.
But I actually liked that. So they tried to build it up, and Steppenwolf turns, and there he is. Superman's just floating. I thought that's a fucking cool scene.
Where did they get a load of me?
That's it. And that's what it is. It's like that scene where you go, oh shit, that's fucking all. That's pretty good.
And just belted him. No ifs, no buffs, no. It wasn't a fair fight. He just belted the shit out of Steppenwolf, which is what you love.
Yeah,
it's just like. Oh yeah, there's no challenge here. Superman just slapped him like the Three Stooges.
Words are cheap though. Look, if it was me, I would have done something along the lines of he incapacitated Steppenwolf someone. He had that big fucking axe. He's about to swing the axe down on someone, just as he's about to strike. Superman's hand just there and stops it.
Yeah, different ways to do it.
That is just a great way of introducing Superman into there and then showing the abilities of his abilities.
In terms of
throw the axe away.
In terms of the returning Superman to this universe, you actually totally, I guess this is Joss Whedon, wasn't Snyder. You totally undermined any dramatic impetus of him returning because we saw it. They brought him back. They shocked him to life. I guess they could have just, hooked him up to some Duracell batteries and shocked him, but they threw him into that pit of Lex shit, and they brought him back to life. This would have always worked better if they just continued Batman vs Superman, where you see the fucking gravel levitating from the coffin, and if you just sort of played on that, where you fucking maybe had a scene with Lois and bloody Martha Kent. And Martha.
That was a really
but that one
scene. That first scene with Martha and Lois was a bad scene.
I wasn't.
It was stilted.
Don't you say anything bad about your mother-in-law.
The dialogue was horrible.
It wasn't just that scene.
It was just rubbish.
Would have been better if Mark just rang up and said, you know, fucking, his grave's empty. They think someone's fucking robbed it.
Now you're changing the battery, bringing Superman back to life
But
scenario.
that's what I'm saying. Once you actually brought in the battery, where they like,
Once they said the battery's going to bring back to life, that was the idea, and they went from 2 movies to 1 movie. They got to change things.
No, but I still think you could have abbreviated in different ways, because when they actually brought him back, it was like, okay, you're purposely trying to bring him back, and then you've brought him back, and he's flown up, so there's no shock there. There's no surprise. It's like...
No, the good thing there, which I thought they were going to play on, I didn't like it, but then when he was bad, I was like, keep him bad for a while. Don't, keep him beating all these people up, fly off, so you guys are useless, I don't need you anymore. But they've done slap them all out.
But they've done that for 2 movies.
No, but he wasn't bad in those. He was bad, He was good. The whole "Do you bleed," which was a stupid line in the previous thing. Bringing it here actually worked because I know you. That was the stupid line you gave me in the other film. I think it actually worked. Can
I go back to that? Because I know fucking Harry Knowles from Ain't It Cool played on. He liked this movie and he talked about that. That Superman hate eyes for Batman. How powerful that was, and I was just sort of thinking about, didn't they resolve their differences in the previous movie?
Well, he died,
but he's got amnesia somewhere along the lines. What do you remember? What he didn't remember? He's bad. He's good. It's fine. He's jumbled at that point. I didn't mind it.
Nah, for me, at that point, it's like this is all resolved 1 movie ago. You actually trying.
What he really should have just said was Martha, and the Superman just stopped.
Yeah.
What did you say do?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That was resolved. That was all like fucking. Batman could have killed him. He let Superman live. So what's your issue? Batman then went off and rescued Martha. So what's your fucking issue here, Superman? You've just actually.
Why did he try and kill Wonder Woman and all the rest of it? Just because whatever was happening.
But that's the whole thing. It's like it's why, other than just fucking.
But that you can accept it because there's a lot of other things you can't accept.
I can't accept that.
Oh, yeah, I can. I run with that punch on that one.
I can actually accept with him fighting people like Cyborg and Flash because he doesn't know him. Wonder Woman, he's got a bit of an iffy. I'm just saying that whole Batman thing was resolved, and they've gone back. I'm not talking about that scene. I'm talking about actually dramatically, thematically. That's been resolved. They had to dig that up to drive some drama in that fucking story. And if you actually notice that, that whole shit Spook talked about earlier, where Batman had in reserve, bring Lois in. When Lois gets out of the car and Superman looks at her and goes, "Ooh, it's Lois. I'm gonna hug her now." And then when you smile,
they should have done something. Bring her in there, him just turning straight away. That was poor. They resolved what could have been a good plot point for a while too quick.
So I'd rather we didn't see him at all until he fucking returned. I would rather just had hints about him returning.
That would have been great, but that became an integral part of the plot.
I would have loved the scene if they got Lawrence Fishburne to do a cameo and he fucking walked into the Daily Planet. He goes, "Lois, has Clark covered that fucking football game yet?" That he was meant to cover 1 movie ago. Where was that? That was an unresolved plot thread. No one has covered that game, That game's just gone totally uncovered.
I'm sure someone covered
the score. I remember I actually paused it when I was watching this fucking movie, and the score was 52-6. But it's an urgent game to cover because 52-6. Gotham.
Kent, he's a fucking wanker.
Kent?
He's a wanker.
Yeah.
Can't even do the simple things in life.
Oh, he can die well.
So the significance of Jonathan Kent's cameo is a photograph sinking into a puddle.
Because he was in the.
When was he buried with the picture of his?
When we in the screenplay of this film, he was buried with the picture. I can't remember that. That was just.
It's not important.
Actually, it was pointless. It was totally.
Can I bring up something a little more important than that? Is why did every character in this movie who was going somewhere decide to park so far from their fucking destination?
Everyone did it.
It's
amazing.
Superman Clark fucking rescued Lois and he flew her back to his farm and landed 50 metres away from the fucking house.
And even Martha pulled up 50
and then Martha pulled up 50 metres away.
I think the best one though was still
Batman?
Batman saying, "Everyone, you stay here. I'm going to fix this." And then he drives off and then they all go, "Oh, he's fucked. Let's go help him." Well, why don't you all get the fucking together at the first instance, you fucking knobs? Get there and fight the common enemy.
Why would you send the most vulnerable guy to? I mean, I would have thought the Flash would be the.
Yeah, he had a big cannon on top of his Batmobile. I mean, the Batmobile's had how many needs of a cannon in its life on top of its roof?
Well, they had to get rid of whatever the shield scenario
that
power
Batmobile
was.
fucking changes to adapt whatever threat's facing it.
It's just got 7 Batmobiles, it's just all different.
I actually think it's a metaphor because it had a cannon and the cannon was destroyed, and it's a metaphor for destroying the cannon of these characters.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a penis reference, but
No. No.
Obviously I was wrong.
Mate, the film was poor. It was dull. It was boring.
I thought it was the second best of these films, though.
It is the second best of these films,
Oh,
which unfortunately is saying a lot if it's the second best of these films.
I need to see where I'm thinking about this tomorrow, or maybe the day after.
No,
At
it
this
is.
stage, I was just completely bored shitless.
So I'll rank my to end this. I'll rank my DC Universe
So you love Suicide Squad?
films. No, this
Man
Wonder
of
Woman
Steel's
ranks
number
as number 1.
Oh, sorry, I got that wrong.
This ranks as number 2. Man of Steel ranks as number 3.
I have to kill him.
And then it's very hard to split Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad because I reckon they're both rubbish. But probably Batman vs Superman then. No, I should say Batman vs Superman then Suicide Squad. But they're both bad.
I don't like any of these movies very much.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I like Wonder Woman. I thought Wonder Woman was good.
First 15 minutes of Wonder Woman brilliant, and then it wasn't bad. It just was very bland. I actually thought this movie had a very similar problem to Wonder Woman. In Wonder Woman, and I've talked about this before, but in Wonder Woman, we get the introduction of Wonder Woman. Okay, great, that works well. And then she comes to fucking London and all that sort of shit. It's like, I gotta find Ares because Ares is causing all this shit. And we never actually see Ares. We never see anything Ares is doing. The war is, attributed to Ares, but we never actually see Ares do anything bad. It's all because it keeps that sort of. It wants to keep that surprise that fucking Ares was it David Wenham in that movie?
And Ares isn't doing anything bad. He's just encouraging people to do things bad in that film.
And that doesn't actually work thematically either because Chris Pine just says at the end, well, maybe fucking humans are just shit. And that was World War One. And, Wonder Woman, you just apparently hibernated for 100 years through, World War II and the Korean War and the Vietnam War and all these other wars. So apparently it's not just Ares, it might just be humans. But that's what I don't like. In a movie where you have a good guy and a bad guy, and the best template is Jaws. In Jaws, you have the sheriff, he's the good guy. We see the shark do bad things, so we know you need to stop that shark. In Wonder Woman, you never actually see Ares do bad things. It's implied, but we actually need to see him because the viewer needs to go, that's the guy you need to stop. They're trying to keep that a mystery until the end. So that whole time we're just watching, I don't fucking know where she's going. Well, what's she doing? Who's she running around? Who's she trying to stop? I don't know who the villain of this movie is. How can I barrack for her when there's no one to barrack against? And that's what you need. If you have a good guy, you need a bad guy. So that's why I think Wonder Woman really worked great as a story. I don't think it was offensive or anything. I just think it really failed to deliver that. This was very similar. We knew Steppenwolf was meant to be the bad guy. He was
born to be wild.
Yeah, he was established as the bad guy in terms of, we've got to stop this guy. But in terms of his impact on our Earth,
There's zero time.
it was zero. He affected
2 attempts and he got fucking canned.
But in terms of like what we actually saw, he beat up the Atlanteans. I've never been to Atlantis, so I have no real sort of empathy there. He beat up the Amazons is like, they've never really been there.
They've been difficult to beat up most of the times.
But it's again
Bows and arrows.
But it's like
The Germans, a boat full of Germans took the island out in the Wonder Woman film.
Man, a boat full of Southern American guys with machine guns, militia would take out the Amazons. Man, they got more firepower in their basements than the Amazons have got in the whole fucking island.
Anyway, in this story, like it was a very similar thing where Steppenwolf wasn't really impacting our Earth, so it was very hard to sort of develop empathy. He just became a generic, bland plot device to fight. Similar with his CGI.
Puddleness.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't really feel anything for anyone here. You watch all the great movies where you have a good guy and a bad guy. You watch something like Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's established as the bad guy. You very early pick up he's the bad guy. He's actually the bad guy for noble reasons, which is good. He believes they're noble reasons. It's done really well. You go look at Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. Fucking great movie again. Ricardo Montalban establishes Khan as the villain of the fucking piece, and you get the sense, okay, this is what to stop him, this is what he's trying to do, this is the impact he's having on the world that I actually understand and I empathise with and I connect to. These movies, they just don't do that well. I know they sort of do it in a generic way, but it doesn't really give you any emotional investment in these stories, which, well, I'll sit back and okay. But Marvel Universe does it better, but the problem with Marvel Universe is just doing it over and over and over.
It's rinse repeat now.
Yeah, you're getting to the point where you go, I don't really care now. Maybe I should just move away from Earth and fucking, I don't know, hopefully get, abducted by the Star-Lord or something and become like a, Star-Lord Jr. or something. The emotional investment in these movies isn't great, and it's really poorly crafted storytelling. I could tell it was going to be because the others were all poorly crafted storytelling. So you get this sense of like just watching the movie and just going, it's just really paint by numbers, and it's paint by numbers in the most objectionable way. Use my word, objectionable again, where nobody's actually really given any great thought to this. No one's actually tried to think outside the box. No one's actually tried to say, I'm going to do something a little bit original. I'm going to do something a little bit, cool. It's just, here's a villain. He's trying to hear the fucking MacGuffins, which are the mother boxes. He's going to get them. They got to get them back. And we're just sitting back going, oh, fuck, who really gives a shit anymore? Really, who cares watching these movies? I mean, did you care watching it?
I said that, but I didn't care about the film. It was
that's what I'm saying.
It was a yawn fest in a lot of instances. Even though there's a lot of action in it, it's just a yawn fest because there's no stakes in the action.
It's not really action though. It's just you're looking at things happen on the screen, and you said it's like watching wallpaper.
It's watching a video game. Right. It's just if I die, I'm just going to start again, and there's nothing.
Couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. And you get back to this too in terms of like stakes. You look at something like Logan with Hugh Jackman. I mean, he's older, he's dying, he's fragile. You look at Wrath of Khan again, which we just talked about, with Khan and Montalban. In terms of stakes, it's an older Kirk. He's no longer the swashbuckling Kirk from fucking years ago.
Getting old and the frailties are rising to the surface.
He's having to wear glasses and all that shit. He's facing his own mortality. He's actually looking at his own usefulness in this universe, A
strong character with weaknesses.
Yep, Jaws, you got a character who's... you got a sheriff who's trying to hunt a shark who's got a phobia about the water. These are really...
Hang on a second, the shark has a phobia at the water.
Shark, yeah.
That's why I kept jumping out of the water. They didn't like the water. That's why
these are really well told stories in terms of like you build them from the ground up. This is just seriously paint by numbers. I guess, I don't know, we've probably fucking ripped into this enough. Did you have a jump-off point, Chief?
I said it was just too dull to have a jump-off point. I was yawning throughout the whole thing.
Yawn-off point?
Probably the one thing, and I always hate massive plot holes that no one ever explains in films. I don't mind things not being explained, but they're just stupid. And in this one, it was the whole Steppenwolf getting the box from the Amazon's stupidity scenario in that. So, for one, Steppenwolf's elevator from wherever he came from to get the box in the first place. I don't know, why did he wait 4,000 years or a stupid thing to come there, then and there and do it? And bows and arrows. There was protecting this fucking thing from some ultimate being that, they needed all of humanity at one point to defeat and did not kill just to drive him off world. Bows and arrows. Actually, I can't get over it. I just can't get over it.
Can I just sort of go back to that? Because in that scene, they try to run the fucking mother box away from him, even though he has a teleportational beam elevator. I actually would have just much preferred that scene if it was just like, we're protecting the fucking mother box here. This is where we make our stand. He's got to kill us all to take it. And if he actually did that, he just fucking mowed through them all. Instead of this run away.
And mowing through them all anyway.
Yeah. It's like, it's pointless. It's like, the box has been given to you to protect. So it should be a thing of, we're going to protect it with our lives, and he's going to get it over our dead bodies, which he should have done. But he didn't.
Well, that's mine.
All right, Spooky.
Mine was obviously fairly early in the piece. Look, I had no conceptions going into this film I was going to enjoy it. So it's hard to actually have a jump-off point for a film that you're probably going in with expectations to hate. However, though, I was surprised, as I said earlier, about that opening scene with Batman and that dopey villain. That's the most Batmanish thing I've seen in these films for a while. It really made me believe for a second here I was going to see a different film, and then the mosquito come along, and it just like it was a yank back to reality. It was like, nah, this is where exactly this film's going. I'm jumping off at this point now. Terrible will always jump off in the first 2 minutes of a film, but that was it for me. And that's probably almost platitudes for this, because I didn't expect to have a point where I was jumping off. I never expected to be jumping on. I had a moment where I enjoyed the first probably minute of this film, and then it lost me.
I felt very... I was the same as Spook. I really didn't expect anything. And I don't actually go into these things to hate them. I really don't. I actually prefer going in to have no expectation, because then it can impress me.
Be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, if I go in with some expectation, you're going to disappoint me in all likelihood. Going in with zero expectation, and like as I said, this wasn't the worst movie I've seen. It wasn't great or anything, but like I sat back and I wasn't offended the way I was by Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, and Man of Steel. But I was like fucking Spook. I just watched that first scene with Batman, and I with that whole scene, I think it still feels the tonally. It actually reminded me a bit of Dick Tracy with what's his name?
Go Gomez. Mumbles.
Warren Beatty. Yeah.
Oh, the actor.
Yeah.
Warren Beatty. We're talking about real people.
No, so it just totally, it felt like that sort of, it had that sort of lighting, it had that sort of build up and all that. But that was fine, and I like, Batman beating up the villain and all that sort of stuff. But then I didn't mind the mosquito coming in, because it was like, okay, well, you need to get this story set up, even though it was a very contrived way to do it. What I hated was fucking the villain. I think he was like, he had his hands tied behind his back or some shit at that point too. He's just loping behind Batman. He's going, oh, they're coming because, they know Superman's dead. It's like, and I just think, fucking really? Really? This is like...
Did you know any of these people existed before Superman died?
Yeah, there's fucking really... This Steppenwolf who's waited fucking 5 millennia or whatever it is to come attack Earth. He couldn't do it for 4 millennia, 998 years. He waited until the 2 years Superman was fucking, there, and then once he saw Superman die, he said, I'll go now. I'll go. It's a good time. And he didn't do anything like, he'd think, if I'm going to fucking attack Earth and my one opponent is the Kryptonian, he didn't sort of look at it like going, you know what, I'll just fucking dig up that body and just take it away so they can't resurrect it. I'll fucking chop it up, maybe eat it over some, dinner and some shit, sprinkle it in a milkshake or something. I won't remove all possible threat of Superman coming back and getting me. He just fucking, that was just really dumb. And that was very expositional. And there was like a few bits like that throughout the movie where someone just paused to explain the fucking plot. Cyborg did it a lot. Wonder Woman did it at that fucking scene at the river with Bruce. And it really did feel like, and Spook said it in our preview before the jump, it really felt like a fucking cannibalized, nonsensical hybrid of two directors with two completely different
contrasting views
and storytelling motifs. I mean, Joss Whedon has one and Zack Snyder doesn't, and it got to this fucking point where it was just like, you really got this mishmash of scenes that played out like a mishmash of scenes, and I don't see where they're going to go from here. I don't see any movie that could really follow on from here.
No, you got to gut and reboot.
Is there one?
No, they'll start again.
Is there? So there's nothing in pre-production or anything like that?
From start again.
I
think the intent was, but I think this is box office performance-wise not going anywhere near what they hoped. Which, did they learn anything from the previous ones? I
think there's a Wonder Woman 2 being done.
Yeah, there is actually.
With Gal Gadot.
And there's supposed to be a Batman.
And there's a Batman standalone, yeah.
Flash, I think, was dependent on the success of this.
But the Batman standalone, that's actually kept falling back in terms of when they're making it.
I think Affleck's pretty much just turned his back on it now and said, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I think he has.
I think Henry Cavill said he'll do one more Superman film, which is amazing considering he's done none so far. Other than that, who fucking knows? This is Hollywood. This could change in a heartbeat. The thing is, Hollywood seems to think if we forget it exists, so will you, and in 18 months' time we'll announce a reboot to the franchise and we start again.
Which is easy enough for them to do.
And to be honest, I think as much as I hate reboots, this is probably the best fucking time to do it.
Well, I said that in before the jump. They need to reboot this, but I actually think there's such a saturation of this genre, not just from DC, but obviously from
Marvel's gone nuts with this. With
it's
their
like
films.
But it's like, does anyone really want to sit back and watch another?
They're not event films anymore. This is the issue. They used to be event films. Now they're churning them out. They're churning them out. Marvel's churning out two a year.
You got
DC churning them out. You're gonna have Star Wars being churned. Everyone's just churning out franchise films.
Well, that's what Spielberg said. Spielberg said it'll kill the industry because everyone's going for this blockbuster industry.
It's already burnt out.
Well, they tried to do the mummies and all that, didn't they? As those Draculas, the creatures films.
Yeah, not Hammer horrors. What are they? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but in terms of like the
Universal classic monsters or something.
In terms of the DC universe, how do you actually reboot this universe? Because you actually look at it and you go, okay, you can't really reboot Batman because we've had this incarnation, the Christian Bale one.
Problem, though.
No, he's not the problem. But I'm just saying, where do you start? You've had the Christian Bale 3 movies and the Ben Affleck. I think he's been in 3 movies now. So I think there's probably a tiredness to that character in terms of, do you really want to reboot him? Wonder Woman's just had the fucking the origin.
Well, like I said, if they're making another Wonder Woman, they're not going to reboot Wonder Woman. You probably could because her original film was pretty standalone. So you can bring her in and do it. But she's starting this universe.
This is the universe. If you reboot it, you got to reboot everyone. Everyone's gone, and you got to start it again.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying, where do you start? I mean, Batman's had the Christopher Nolan movies. Henry Cavill had the Man of Steel, and he's been in these movies. Wonder Woman's had the one origin movie. It's like always 3 characters. How do we really want to see another origin movie from any of these 3 characters?
To a point, I think you do. I think Cyborg, the Flash, and Aquaman suffered greatly from this with having no backstories. That was anything
massively. They
there
suffered.
was some throwaway reference to Aquaman being born from a queen, and you didn't come home after that moment or something. Flash could fucking
how he became the Flash
trailer trash that was hanging out, and Cyborg had a loose backstory, but none that you cared about. And the thing is, you got to care about these characters. You have to have some investment in their origins.
They would probably be a lot better off scrapping this universe and then just giving birth to a new universe out of the TV series The Flash. And using that as their launching point.
There's no point going back and revisiting the origins of these characters to a certain extent. Just fucking have a montage of, this is who these fucking people are. They got together and fought some stuff. It's like the opening of the Super Friends cartoons. Flash, Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That's enough. We know it all backwards now. Just fucking get them on the screen and get them to do some stuff. I don't think this is what this tried to do, but it just didn't do it anyway.
Yeah, I think that a big reason it didn't do it.
If you wanted to take that route, probably I should have clarified that by saying that if this is the choices you made, that's probably the way to do it. I
actually just think that we've been so saturated with all this content. I don't think any new movie from any of these people is real. Even if it was good, is really going to fucking.
We're superhero overload at the moment.
Like we reviewed 4, and I actually at the time I think it was pretty. It was goodish, but it was too jokey. But when I look back, I think it's probably still one of the better Marvel movies. But it was still at a point where for Ragnarok.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But it was I just watched it and I was thinking, but I don't really care. It's I've gotten to the point where I'm over fucking people chasing instruments of power to dominate the earth and blah 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 blah. It's and this is one of the problems. I actually think if you look at this fucking Justice League, it wasn't a good movie, but I actually think if this movie was released in 2012, for example, it would probably be regarded a little bit better because it would still then at that time be a little bit new in terms of what it was doing. And you get to this point where all these fucking movies where you just go, well, what are you doing? How many times do you really want to see these characters and blah blah blah?
What are you doing that's any different that makes them interesting for me to watch?
They've veered completely away with these characters. You can do them completely originally, but I just still think there's a bit of desensitization in regards to the attempts with these characters. And this is a really fucking good example. I mean, if you look at all the characters in these movies, Superman, as he's called, has changed progressively from fucking Man of Steel to Batman vs Superman to this movie. He's not the fucking same character. They're trying to get him into a semblance of what people like. And now if you release like a new Superman movie, which is completely the Superman we all know, it's like you're probably going to watch it and go, you know what? I'm a little bit over this. But at this stage, it's no offense to this movie. I'm just being pummeled over the head with his character for a while and what you've tried to do with him.
Unless they do a Cavill Superman with Superman being the Superman that we all know.
He saves kittens.
Saves kittens. Yeah. But if Cavill said he'll do one, potentially they'd bring in whatever, one of the Superman bad guys and make Superman
Snyder, maybe.
Be Superman.
I still don't think that's going to work because I just think this is built on shit, and it's like, well, it's trying to dig it. It's like quicksand. They built it on quicksand. They're trying to dig their way out of quicksand. They're not going anywhere, and it shows. They're just constantly fucking, really treading quicksand and sinking by fucking every paddle. Where are they going to go with this? It's not a great universe. It's a poorly constructed universe. It's very hastily done. You've destroyed two halves of Metropolis in 2 movies. You've destroyed fucking I don't know where Steppenwolf was in this movie, and
Dandenong.
And you sort of watch it and you go, well, geez, I really don't think I care what happens next.
Yeah.
I mean, do you care? I mean, say whatever the next movie was, even if it was the greatest movie, do you really think you'd have fucking enthusiasm for it? No, and it's not just DC's fault. It's that whole immersion in this genre. Superheroes everywhere, whether it's DC or Marvel. But DC didn't do it well, as Spook said. They were playing catch up from the beginning, and they were playing catch up in the stupidest way. And I have no fucking doubt that Snyder went into some studio and pitched his dark, gritty vision of Superman. It's going to capture everyone like. Christopher Nolan's Batman captured the fucking audience and all that sort of stuff. And the studio said, yeah, this is what we need. And that was the fucking problem. It's like studio and Schneider was like, well, you're not pitching the character that is. You're pitching a character you would like to see. But that's not the Superman that's existed for, fucking since his inception. And they've taken it completely off track and made it this murky, gritty, emo universe. And it's just tiresome, and doesn't matter what you do from here. I think just people are just like, except for the total, the fanboys, the people who really love it, who think this is actually good. And there's people out there who do that. There's people you've seen comments in fucking articles going, I don't know why people are picking on this. I don't know why the fucking critics don't like this. It's actually a good movie. It's not. If you really think it's good, it's not. It's just indefensible. Anyway, I think that's probably pretty much it from us. Any last observations from either of you two?
If you've made it through the length of this review, you are a braver man than us.
Not than me.
Than all of us.
Wake up, people!
Because I am Superman. Alright, well, thanks for joining us for this extended jump off point. Sorry it was so long, but...
we had a lot to get off our chest.
And some shit needs to be smashed.
And we had 5 movies to review instead of 1.
Yeah, 5, a whole universe to review. Anyway, we will be back. I think, what are we doing next? Probably
Force Awakens!
Really? I thought that was done.
Is it?
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi? Whatever.
Yeah, we got hope, but it's unlikely.
I don't have hope.
Wars fucking film.
We have a new hope.
We have no hope.
No hope.
Yep.
No.
You know what they should make? They should actually just make an origin story for fucking Bruce Wayne's mum.
They should just make an origin story about Martha's.
Why did you say my name?
Superman's mum, Batman's mum, and whoever else is called Martha.
Steppenwolf's mum's called
Martha Stewart.
Probably.
And
Alright.
They should get Martha and the Muffins to do the soundtrack.
I wonder, was Wonder Woman's mum called Martha?
Yeah, it is now. Queen Martha. And the Flash's mum's Martha, Henry Martha Allen.
And Cyborg's mum's Martha.
Cyborg's mum was
and Aquaman's
Martha
mum was Martha too.
Martha wet face.
Martha man.
Oh, that's a good extrapolation. Martha wet face.
Yeah, wait for it. He'll get there.
Alright, anyway, thanks for joining us.
Alright, thank you.
See ya.
Go to bed.